Hello all and welcome back to this video. We're here in the office in Luca Labita's studios, Italian Laboratory for Enhancing Houses, and we welcome Luca. Hey Luca.
Hello to all of you.
So Luca, let's take a step back, and I would say to tell your reality to the friends who are observing us. So who are you and what has been your professional trajectory, your origins? How did it all begin?
So I was born as a surveyor, and I did my studies, let's say, as a surveyor in high school, then graduated from the Polytechnic University of Milan in 2006. Slowly but surely, as the profession should be, a bit of apprenticeship, and about 10 years ago I opened my own studio, and now here we are. There are 4 of us working for Studio Leg.
We remind you of location.
In Saronno, in front of the station. So let's say we are very comfortable with the city of Milan, and logistically it's a good location.
Yes, it is a strategic position, but Luca, then we proceed to the next question. What caused you to initiate this journey? How did your passion for this field of interest come about?
However, it is a complex question. In reality, the living environments, the places where we reside and interact with on a daily basis are something that has always fascinated me since I was a child.
But what does he do for a living? We remember Italian Laboratory for Enhancing Houses. We explained some of your projects, but above all, the ABC of your reality.
We care for accompanying the customer from small renovations to major renovations and new construction. All interventions must also have a valorization purpose. In fact, the final work has a value that is definitely higher than the amount spent, because otherwise it would not make sense to invest one's own money. I am most attached to new construction interventions. In the last 6 or 7 years, we have specialized in Linux slab construction, wooden Linux construction. They are not genuine prefabricated buildings because only the walls are delivered, the wood, and then the construction is mostly traditional. And let's say that our job doesn't end there because we design the simple structure that arrives on site.
Let's assume you'll handle everything regarding the project from all angles.
Yes, for instance, we have one behind us, which is the most recent realization, the party construction site and the cube construction site. There are a total of 3 terraced single-family units, and all of them are clad in aluminum materials. So you understand well how wood has its importance, but then all the design behind it is important.
But we also understand who your ideal customers are. What is the ideal customer and what are their challenges and how can you help? Because in the end, your task is also to make a dream come true.
I have been committed since the beginning to building a relationship of trust with clients. So before being entrusted with the job, we have a series of meetings, both here in the studio and on site, whether it's a plot of land or a renovation. Because the ideal customer for me is the one who has to trust the technical figure that I am and my entire team. The usual challenges that one has, apart from the economic concerns that a person starting a renovation or new construction adventure may have, are precisely imagining what the finished product will be like. Trust is built from the very first meetings, establishing a strong foundation for a lasting and meaningful relationship. So attempt to communicate the emotions that we would like to convey to the final product so as to his residents.
Rightly. Luca, what is the starting point when commencing a new project, and particularly how to identify the needs that each client requires, and specifically how they can influence it in order to ensure a successful outcome?
So I will begin from the second part of the question, and currently all individuals are connected to each other. So the customer already arrives with fairly clear ideas, some inspirational images rather than just some colors.
I asked myself the question, a customer comes with clear ideas. It can be positive or negative side.
Changes mind frequently.
Yes.
Why? When I accompany a client to choose finishes, does he come in with one idea and probably leave with another? It is the expertise of a studio, of a professional who accompanies you to demonstrate to you what you hadn't previously thought about. Let's assume that the initial customer requirements frequently do not translate. While the starting point may be a somewhat technical aspect, in my opinion, it is very important to have a clear idea of what the point is, so a precise survey and precise information about the property rather than the land, because starting off on the right foot is fundamental.
Also, because the beginning is the Luca part, the company also cares about sustainability, an increasingly important issue nowadays. So let's give the floor to explain how you approach and incorporate it into your projects. Sustainability idea.
The initial stages, as I said before, serve to gain the customer's trust, to create this relationship. So I focus at the beginning on those aspects that the customer has tangible in himself. For example, if he starts from the windows rather than the type of heating he has. I don't provide detailed material info as it's premature in the early stages of development. Providing an excessive number of inputs to the client, then there are individuals who are better prepared, those who may be slightly less prepared. But let's state that it truly revolves around the quality of what I would like to suggest to him within his residence. Thus, perhaps employing wood fiber as insulation, windows that avoid plastic and instead can be made of wood or aluminum, and a heating system that is undoubtedly based on a heat pump. Now, in recent years, I have been proposing the ducted air system a lot.
And what is the customer's reaction to these proposals that you present to him during the meeting? That is, he's inclined, he blindly trusts. Maybe you know about sustainability idea. Perhaps you believe the house might have a different outcome. How is the customer positioned in front of this?
But above all, at the beginning, the systems are very disconcerting because we are used to all the classic heating, maybe underfloor radiant rather than a few years ago. Now, fortunately, radiators are no longer used. An air system can raise suspicions in the client contractor as they wonder, how will I live in my house? Will they be comfortable? Will I be cold? Will I be too hot?
He's a bit scared.
However, over time, it is a relationship that is established through successive meetings, and then the outcomes are gratifying. So I would state that if there are any initial hesitations, they are subsequently overcome.
You have two concepts, two key values in your study. The first, that of craftsmanship, and then tailor-made. Do you want to explain to us these important concepts?
Yes, then I see myself as a construction site architect.
Okay.
I like getting dirty.
Maximize life.
Yes, I often grab the broom and clean the floor before the sterilist comes. I like it because in those moments I see details I have in the studio or encounter more confusion at the construction site.
Invisible.
And I work together extensively with the companies and businesses that are located on site. So in my view, the skill of an architect stems from that. It frequently occurs to create work tables, possibly improvised, not always in the studio. It occurs, I'm unsure, at a work lunch or on a construction site on a table and discuss technical aspects, especially construction-related ones. I have memories of certain scenes where you would draw on a piece of wood with a pencil and share it. Not necessarily me doing the drawing. On the contrary, they would often do the drawing and then transform it into a technical drawing.
Additionally, because you cannot assume that a project of this nature is consistently straightforward.
No, the variants under construction are daily if, on one hand, trust with the client is fundamental. Equally important is the collaboration with the companies that one must trust in order to ensure success.
So these two concepts are extremely important for your work concept?
Definitely, I change what's in the office, then I believe, in a nutshell, my colleagues who work with me will confirm it, but I genuinely think it's true that I value this equality of opinion greatly, and also I need to be in the basements, actually quite frequently. I position myself as the one just to comprehend all the secrets.
A very important aspect is the selection of materials. The choice of quality materials is definitely a very important aspect also for durability. So what are the criteria that you employ to ensure that those materials are of high quality and that the customer can be happy and satisfied with their experience?
I believe that participating in specialized fairs is, at least in my opinion, the optimal decision, as it allows you to acquire technical knowledge about the material. Subsequently, the fair can transform into on-site visits or personalized meetings with the sellers, further enhancing the learning experience. I have a profound love for wood, so I make use of it for both structures, insulation, and various finishes. And thus wood, which substance is more environmentally friendly than that? I do not believe there is any.
Have they improved over the years? I want to ask you this curiosity. The quality of the materials, how have the requests and needs of the customers also changed?
As I mentioned, customers are more informed now due to the internet compared to the past.
Yes, it's a more open knowledge.
Then it frequently happens that customers come from acquaintances of other customers for whom I have already worked. So they may have already followed some work of friends rather than relatives, thus arriving partly prepared and therefore being ready to explain how one of our houses, our project's work, is essential and plays a vital role in their decision-making process, which greatly influences their final choice.
Surely a project, especially one that involves the construction of a house, involves many parts, different professionals. In this context, Luca, how crucial and possibly even challenging is it to align different points of view, various professionals within the field of expertise?
In reality, it seems more complicated than it actually is because, at least as far as I'm concerned, we have built an important network with colleagues, with professionals with whom we work towards the same goal. So there is a group of thermotechnicians rather than electrotechnicians, structural engineers and surveyors with whom we already meet in the early stages when a contract is awarded for a project or for both design and construction. The fundamental aspect is to make the clients aware of the entire team and to allow them to express their needs, their desires to all the designers involved, the professionals involved, so that everyone knows what they have to do, and then we work in synergy.
So everyone has their own role in order to reach the final goal?
You need to coordinate. That is something I really like.
Who coordinates? You?
Yes, yes.
Here.
Indeed.
If we also talk about objectives, we must also talk about challenges. So I wanted to ask you, what are the most common challenges you encounter during the process of project implementation? So what are the main challenges?
In my opinion, this is one of the key factors that determine the outcome of work, regardless of whether it is successful or not. Respect for hierarchies, because if hierarchies are not respected within a construction site, there is a real risk of losing control of the entire organization. So the client wants to trust me and therefore speak with me or my team, and then it is me who translates his needs, his desires to the different companies that are involved in the process. If this step is really skipped, problems arise because then the client is the one who pays. So when he speaks on the construction site, what he says is done, but what he says is not always the right thing. So we must take into account the desires of each and every individual.
Only these challenges roughly?
Actually, this is the main one. Then it is logical that respecting the budget is another aspect that I really care about a lot.
However, you always say to consider an additional 10 or 15% because there might be some unforeseen expenses.
When constructing, it's harder to explore the budget as everything is clear up front. With restoration, we know that by digging, breaking, demolishing, we can uncover hidden items that were not visible underneath.
Luca, we've reached the end of this video. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks all.
To have made us aware of your reality. But an important question we want to ask our friends, where can they learn more about the reality? Where does it live? We inform you they have the option to click on the link in order to directly access your website and view your projects, as well as keep in mind the offer of a free consultation.
Sure.
Thanks, Luca. See you in next video.